Hi guys and dolls, today I'm going to be sharing with you a product smackdown of the Milani Ultrafine Liquid Eyeliners and the Urban Decay 24/7 Waterproof Liquid Eyeliners. These are very similar products. They are both waterproof liquid eyeliners. They both have bright colors. They both have some more neutral colors, although the shade range in the Urban Decay one is quite a bit more extensive. In fact, they have more than double the amount of shades that Milani has. The Milani product is a drugstore item, and the Urban Decay is a more of a luxury price point, luxury brand. The first thing I want to discuss is some of the ways that these are similar. So if you look at the packaging, if the names and labels and everything weren't there, you would actually think that these were basically the same eyeliner. The only difference would be the silver top on the Urban Decay liner, but other than that, from the outside they look exactly identical. The bottoms look identical. They stop for the handle and the bottom part at the exact same point. They're completely an identical casing. These even actually contain the exact same amount of product, which is 0.0058 fluid ounces. Just judging by the fact that the molds that are used to create them are identical, I would imagine that they're even made at the same plant. However, when you open it up, it's a little bit of a different story. With the Milani liners, you get a very thick felt tip liner that does come to a nice point. With the Urban Decay liners, you get a very thin brush tip. And if you've been subscribed to me for a while, you probably know that I love eyeliners that come with a brush tip. I just love how you can get a super fine line with it. Now, the benefit of having the felt tip, especially when you're kind of newer to makeup, is that it helps you to create a more even line because it's a firmer brush. It's, with the brush tips, especially one that's very thin like this, it can go a little mamby-pamby on you, and you can see that in my swatches in just a moment. They're not as even as the Milani ones were because with the thicker, more stiff felt tip, you actually get a more precise line, although it's thicker, and I do prefer a thinner line, or like to be able to get a thinner line, particularly for like winged liner and stuff like that. The Milani liners are sold for $7.49. They come in 5 shades. As I mentioned, they have the hard felt tip applicator, which is really good, especially for beginners. If you want a thinner line, you'll prefer the Urban Decay ones. The inner ball in these ones to shake up the liner, it gets stuck. Like you heard, like how long it took it to start moving around. Whereas with the Urban Decay ones, I feel like it's a little more liquidy. It moves more automatically. One last thing about the Milani liners is I find that when I go to layer them, sometimes it gets kind of dry and almost looks like it's gonna crack or something, which is very similar to the, I think they're called Super Slick liners or something like that from MAC. I think that MAC was actually the company that first launched this new type of liquid liner. So now moving on to the Urban Decay liners. This comes in a whopping 11 shades. The shade range on this is really awesome. You have everything from, your metallic silver and gold, you have black, you have 2 different kinds of blues, you have purple. What I'm surprised to not see here is a bright turquoise, especially since Urban Decay is all about like really bright turquoise, really bright blues and things like that. I'm surprised that the only bright blue they have is radium. But maybe they will surprise us with more shades in the future. This has the brush tip applicator, so it's very nice thin application. It's really great for doing any kind of winged line or just doing a very thin strip of line on the upper lash line. This is sold for $19, so they're a bit more expensive. In fact, they're about 2.5 times as expensive as the Milani shades. I do think that the formula of this one is a little bit better. When I go to build it up, I'm actually able to do like a second coat without it doing that weird cracking thing. The inner balls on this shake up so much easier. It's ridiculous. When I actually, like, especially the purple one, and I feel like maybe like the blue and the green, these ones I have to like bang on a counter hard to get the ball moving on the Milani liners. So that is a really big point of irritation for me with those. It's not enough to where I hate them, but it's just, Let's go ahead and go through the swatches of the liners so you can kind of get a feel for what they actually look like. So the first shade from Urban Decay is Woodstock. It's a nice bright shiny pink eyeliner. This is really cool. I don't know of any other like bright pink liquid liners. The next one is El Dorado, and it's a nice super glittery shimmery gold. It's a really nice yellow gold. It's really pretty. Smog is an olive green with a little bit of a gold shimmer to it. It's very similar to the 24/7 pencil in Stash. Siren. Girl and boy. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Siren is so fantastic. I can't even. It is a duochromatic liner. It flashes sort of like an aqua, purple, blue kind of shift. It's kind of like all over the place like, hey, doing the jazz hands or whatever. It's really cool that it flashes so many different colors. It's just really pretty. It's not as shiny as some of the others, and I feel like the duochromosity would be more intense if it was a little bit shinier, but overall this is still probably my favorite. Radium is a deep true blue, very shiny on that one. Sabbath is a nice inky navy blue. It's a really deep, rich color. Retrograde is an awesome shade. Of course I'm gonna love it because it's purple. It's a deep, dark purple with a little bit of like a pink sparkle to it. It's really a nice color. Then we have Demolition, which is an almost green tinted brown. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't go with a more like warm chocolate brown, just because I know that that looks so pretty on so many different eye colors, and it's kind of strange to have such a dark brown when, I don't know, I just feel like a chocolate brown would have been a better choice. It's not my company. It's still a lovely dark brown, but as I said, it kind of leans on the more green side. Of course, they have Perversion included. It's a super dark, very shiny black liquid liner. Bobby Dazzle is the silver, and I think the name is funny. Very light silver. In fact, this one's kind of sheer because it's so light, I think. And this one is the exact same shade as the 24/7 pencil cuff. So if you wanted to get like liquid liner and pencil liner that match exactly, well then there you go. And then Revolver is a smoky gray that has a slightly multicolored shimmer, but mostly it's just a smoky gray with shimmer. Then we get to the Milani shades, and there's only 5 of them, so this should go a little bit quicker. The first one is Black Vinyl, and it is a shiny black. It's not as black as Perversion is. I would say that if you want like a super intense black, you know, liquid liner, Perversion would be your go-to gal. To be honest, in practice, you're not going to notice that much of a difference, but if you really want the blackest black possible, Perversion is it. The next color is Black Gems, and this color is so awesome, I have no words. It's a very glittery, very dark gray color. It has lots of multi-chromatic shimmer glitters in it. It's so good, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. Prismatic Purple is another one that is just so good. It's so good, it's so good, it's so bright, it's intense, it's so richly pigmented. I actually can't believe that this is sold at the drugstore because it's that good. Although I do have to say Milani does come out with like the best purple products at the drugstore, just in my personal opinion. Sparkling Turquoise is a super bright turquoise blue. It's so intense, it's just like pow in your face. And then Emerald Glisten is it's a little more sparkly than the other ones. It's very shimmery. It's almost like an aqua green, if that makes sense. In fact, it's very close to the color of my dress here, and I've worn this eyeliner with this dress many times, and a lot of people will compliment and be like, oh, your dress matches your eyeliner, and I'm like, oh, I didn't notice. I will say that in the Milani liners, the Sparkling Turquoise and the Emerald Glisten stain me so terribly. Let me go ahead and show you. These are swatches I did earlier and tried to wash off. They didn't come off. Kind of a pain in the butt. What are you gonna do? So now we get to the Smackdown portion. Which is better? Which do I prefer? Let's assume that price were no option and these were unlabeled and I had no idea which brand was which, and I could just say, you know, this is the winner. I think that Urban Decay would pull ahead because they have a more extensive shade range. I love the brush tip applicator. I love the control you get with it. I think the formula is a little bit better because it doesn't crack, and I mean, that's basically, those are the reasons why I would pick it. With all that said, I don't think that the Milani eyeliners are bad. I absolutely love Prismatic Purple and Black Gems. I recommend that you run out and buy them immediately, if not sooner. And, you know, they're both good options. And the Milani one, even though I personally don't like the thicker brush, I do think that it's really nice for creating a nice clean line. And I have used them many times. And I keep them all housed in the exact same little portion of my drawer all together. And I grab them by color, not so much what brand they are. So they're both great. They're both Cora approved. So there you go. If there has to be a winner, I would say Urban Decay, but like only by a smidgen. And you know, the Milani ones are so much cheaper. The good news is that with all 16 shades, there's not a lot of color overlap. The only thing that really overlaps is the 2 blacks. So if you only bought one of the blacks, you have 15 completely different shades, which I think is pretty cool. And I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky. Just be yourself. See you, bye. Hi guys and dolls, today I'm going to be sharing with you some secrets and tips on how to cover textured acne or kind of rough acne, any kind of lip acne, let's face it, those are really horrible. Why are the ones around the lip like always so painful? I should be telling you guys never, never ever pop a zit. We're all guilty of it.